Hello, I'm Kason Smith. Thank you for joining me for this discussion on how to effectively use presentation software during a lecture. This is software like Microsoft's PowerPoint. I'll demonstrate common usages, though some would say they're common mistakes, then examine ways to make things better. The first real big thing not to do is put every single word you're planning on saying on the slide. This has to be the most hideous mistake an instructor can make. It is very ugly visually and emotionally exhausting for students who see it. Presenting long messages in two different ways is simply a waste of time and effort. It also makes your students question your skill and motives. They begin to think, is my teacher proving to me that he can read or that I can't? At the risk of sounding like a teacher-centered know-it-all lecturer, don't ever do this. Hopefully you aren't in too deep of a comatose state so we can move forward and discuss options to improve this. On screen, you could have simply made your point like this. Reading is for the textbook, not your lecture or your visual presentation. Also, people can actually read your text faster than they can hear it, or you can say it. So students will generally read what's on the screen first. And since research shows people cannot accurately understand more than one message at a time, they'll most likely tune out what's being said while they're reading what's on the screen. This diminishes understanding even when the words on the screen are similar to what's being said. Students will try to comprehend one message while the other message interferes with it, or they'll try to understand both at the same time and comprehend neither fully. I'm really sorry I had to do that to you, but it served a good purpose. In the first and last messages, what I was saying and what was on the screen were completely different. This probably triggered some emotions. Wait, I don't get it. Are these supposed to go together? Is this a mistake? For the second message, what I was saying and what was on the screen were quite similar. Don't take my word for it. Review it again and check for yourself if you need to. You probably attempted to read what was on the screen before listening to me. No, I wasn't offended. Too much. Even if verbal and visual messages are similar, they can still interfere with each other. And since I broke your trust with that first message, saying one thing and displaying another, you had to expend extra mental effort for every message thereafter, just to see if I was giving you conflicting info. Student attention and engagement can be very fragile. It doesn't take much to lose it. So, how do we make this better? Just like I did there. Before I started talking, I paused for a moment after the word appeared on the screen. It gave your brain a chance to comprehend the text message before I sent another its way verbally. It reduces conflict between the two messages because they're not happening simultaneously. This next issue might be a little difficult to convey, but bear with me. You can display text, pause, then talk about what was displayed, which I did a moment ago, or you can talk about the text before it's displayed, like I'm doing now. Either way, the key is to make sure you pause right after the text is displayed on the screen. Pauses will be annoying if they're used all the time. So, another tactic is to use good verbal text coordination. Now, this is a term I use. However, the concept is similar to a field called visual-verbal integration, which deals with the psychological interaction between images and language development. For this presentation, however, I simply mean display text as you say it. Exactly as you say it. Students recognize the instructor just said those exact words, so they're much less likely to spend any effort searching for a different meaning. So they'll probably stay focused on what the instructor is saying. Since what's on the screen is very brief, students cannot read ahead and they can't get bored waiting for the instructor to catch up. Prudent and appropriate use of this technique means after displaying text on the screen, there is less need to pause. So far, we've been concentrating on how to display text while talking. Are there other ways presentation software can support our lectures effectively? Feel free to take a little break, think about that a while, then fire up part 2, and we'll look at some possibilities.